Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Explore Death as a Rite of Passage with Shamanic Wisdom. Spiritual practices that help loved ones, pets, and clients live fully, love deeply, and fear less. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm really glad to be here today because this is a very important subject. There's so much that is so much loss in the world. There's so much the death is part of the human condition, and being able to navigate that with spiritual intelligence, with wisdom, with compassion, and really understand how we can make death a portal into a new way of being is really very important particularly for our times. We're going to get to explore this with really today's leading shamanic teacher. Her name is Sandra Ingerman. She is an award-winning author. She's taught many programs for Shift. And I've always just admired the depth and integrity with which she approaches any subject. And I know she's very excited about today. So, Sandra, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Stephen. It's always good to be with you. And I am really excited about our conversation today. Um, Death in our culture is seen as a failure. It's really interesting. We do everything possible to stop the process. And change is part of nature, and death is part of nature. So, this is a really natural process. And so, what a lot of people don't know about me, and Stephen, you don't know this about me either, is about 10 years ago, I really immersed myself in the longevity community. And I didn't do it because I wanted to live longer. I
Hmm.
definitely, that is absolutely not, that's not my intention. I'm a nature being, and in nature, we're sung into this world by our elders, and we live our life. And when our soul says it's time for us to go, we're sung back into the light of Source, and it's such a beautiful process. So I was definitely not looking at trying to step away from the river of life and not be part of that beautiful natural cycle of moving from the light back to the light again. But I was dealing with what I thought at the time was health issues. I had a disorder, a health disorder that caused a lot of issues in my life, and I was just trying to feel better. And so I figured, well, maybe the longevity experts know how to make me feel better. And so I really jumped into that world, and I can say I didn't get a lot from it, but how I can bring it back to the topic that we're talking about now, because it's such an amazing industry out there, and the thinking that goes on in that community is really interesting. And so, what started to come up for me around people starting to talk about longevity and really get involved in it, and some of the Shift Network has unfortunately had to listen to me talk about this a lot, me trying to sell supplements and products to course managers and assistants. So, this is going to make you feel so good. Um, and there's Sandra, what and how much? And anyway, I've just been having fun with it for the last 10 years. And what I've come to is what happens with these people who are so obsessed with living longer is I realized, what do you end up missing in life? What do you end up missing in life if every single day you have this beautiful sunrise for 1,000 years, and every night you have this beautiful sunset for 1,000 years? Do you ever have gratitude for the sun rising? Because it's such a special event for you. You know that time is going to end one day. and you're not going to be able to see the beauty of the sun, the beauty of your children, the beauty of your loved ones, the beauty of nature around you. And so we're in a culture where instead of allowing ourselves to just immerse ourselves into the absolute beauty of the flow of the river of life and how it's such a natural cycle,
Mm,
again, how we're sung into this world and we're sung out of this world again. Why would we want to step out of the river of life and not miss anything again? And what would we have gratitude for? Would we lose our sense of gratitude if nothing ever changes?
mm,
And my God, how all of us look forward to the beauty of the changes of the seasons. And our life is just like the seasons. We go through all the beautiful seasons of change until we come to the end, which is so much beauty because we get our body goes back to the earth and our soul goes back home again to spirit, to source, to light. It's a beautiful cycle, it's a natural cycle. And so this is a topic that I've been teaching since the early 2000s, maybe late 1990s. And it's such beautiful work. It's amazing how it
mm.
touches people's hearts.
Well, just hearing you t talk about it is I think healing for everyone. Just because we do get raised in this culture of fearing death on some level, or resisting it, or trying to control when it happens or doesn't, and that sense of like welcoming it as a beautiful transition is yeah, it's good medicine. So I'd love for you to share just a little bit more about like how to really take that on as a practice. So how does death become beautiful and good medicine as a practice? So it's like really deep under our unconscious mind and our body and how we live our life.
Yeah, I actually had an amazing opportunity again that people don't know about my history is in New Mexico back in the late 1980s. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross started the first um, center for teaching hospice at the community college in New Mexico. And I was one of the instructors there. And for those of you who don't remember Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she is our angel who taught us all the 9 stages of grief and how to work through grief. She was really well known at that particular time and still is. And so I had the opportunity to come into different situations and to teach people who were fearing death how to make those spiritual connections with guides on the other side who can talk to us, who can help us. And what we started to find is that when we started working with people who were dying, but we can get them in touch with a guide on the other side, so many people were having miraculous healings. And so, what I learned from that is when we heal, the next step in our healing process could be life, and the next step of our healing process could be death. And so, we have these beautiful guides who can show us our next steps because we're so stuck in our egos, we're not always in touch with our soul who was given the information on when it's our time to leave. My mother died at 98 and a half, and every single day she said exactly the same words. She said, "The day that you're born is written, and the day that you die is written, and you can't do anything to change those two dates. And so I've heard that all of my life. And so, it's just really ingrained in me. And so it's really been important for me to help people to see this as a natural process. It's part of our destiny. It's a spiritual practice. Our soul is the one who guides us. And so having a guide to be able to help relieve us from some of our fears of death, to be able to talk with us about that, and then to be able to have some experiential exercises where we get to see what it's like to let go of the body and to be back with Source again. And then to come back and to realize and to understand what our true identity is and how we have Source seated inside of us so that we never have to fear anything in our life. And to be able to talk to people who are dying in a really calm way, and to be able to sit and hold space and to be a being of light that brings so much comfort, and it allows people to just drop into that natural process of when we start to remove our energy from the outer world, and when we allow that energy just to come within and allow that force, that power, that energy to guide us into the next cycle of our life. And
Mm.
so we have this beautiful role as whether you're a hospice worker or a death doula or a person who's interested, just wants to really help people cross over, or who has a loved one, being able to sit and hold space and sing and talk about the light, and to be able to talk about stories of meeting loved ones again and how a loved one is going to come and meet you and guide you.
Mm.
It's such a beautiful process that turns it from a lonely, isolated process that people fear to a beautiful community process that puts us back into the natural cycles of nature.
Mm.
It's just really gorgeous. And so, what happened to me was I got so into working with people who were dying that my own helping spirit taught me how to do soul retrievals to bring people back to life. He said to me, "You love doing this work so much. You're spending all your time on the other side. I'm going to teach you to bring parts of people back from there back to life again, because you need to learn how to live." Because the world in the unseen after we go where we die is just filled with so much beauty, so much grace, so much light, that I love to be one of those people who sit with people and get them excited and inspired for the next part of their journey, and help to escort them back to a beautiful place where they're accepted and loved by their loved ones and their ancestors again. And there's this beautiful reunion and emerging back with Source and oneness again.
Mm. Well, you paint such an incredible picture, and it's clear that when you have that direct experience of what is on the other side and the beauty of it, that it really does shift our whole perspective around it. So maybe share a little bit about how you help take people through that journey to sort of get a real experiential taste of the other side and what awaits.
Well, I've played with this a lot, because I've been teaching this work for a really long time. And so, one of the things that I said to my helping spirit once is, when I get over to the other side, I'm going to understand all the mysteries, right? And he looked at me and he said to me, "What makes you think that?" And so, in doing this work with people, I'm very cautious about giving too much information that we don't know as humans. We don't know as humans what is going to happen. I've had 4 near-death experiences now. I have a sense of what's going to happen, but I still believe everybody's experience is going to be unique. And so I don't like how we try to put everything in a box. So this is what you get to experience when you die. And so the experience that I like to give people is what happens when you actually drop your body. So we have a force of nature that comes in that helps to actually destroy the body, but in a spiritual way. There's no pain. It actually feels really good for people. And then we get the opportunity to allow our spirit to journey back to source again and to remember who we are. We're not these bodies. We're not these egos. We're a seed of source. So we get to come back into that place of merging with source and remembering who we are. And so what happens when we come back from this particular experience, which will be part of the teaching that I'll be sharing in the upcoming workshop, what happens when people come back is they're shining. Their spirit is big. Their presence is huge. It's like we constrict ourselves so much by seeing that we're a body. So we open up to more of our gifts, our psychic gifts of what we were born with. People come back from this journey being more clairvoyant, being more clairsentient here, now, because we have more abilities here than we understand. And sometimes we have to do those journeys back to source just to remember who we are. I do this journey a lot, and where I'm taken apart and put back, taken apart and put back, but always put back with more spirit, more strength, more resilience, more psychic gifts, more understanding, more knowledge, more compassion, more love, more understanding for life, and more gratitude, where I can say thanks for my life every day, no matter what is happening in the outer world.
I love that. Well, I know you're such an experiential teacher too, and that you want to take us into a bit of a taste of what you're talking about today. And so I'm wondering if now would be a good time to transition to leading the experiential you want to do.
Okay, so as I shared, in shamanic cultures, singing is everything. And we're sung into this world by our elders, and our elders actually sing us back to source again. Our community comes together to give us a beautiful send off back to source, where they celebrate us walking over that bridge that takes us home again. And so I've been teaching shamanism around the world since the 1980s. And so there's so many shamans and shamanic teachers that have gone before me that left these beautiful songs for all of us to sing. There's no ownership. It's all been about sharing the beauty of how we can sing, how we can celebrate life, how we can celebrate loss, how we can celebrate birth, and how we can celebrate death. And so I just want to teach you a song that we're going to start with. And then I'm going to lead you on a guided journey through the river of life. And so this is the song that we're going to start with, and we'll sing it together once we begin. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother, carry me back to the sea. And so that's a song that you can think about as I drum, that the river is always flowing back to the sea. And Mother is carrying you in love through your life as you go back to the sea. And as I'm drumming, I want you to imagine yourself sitting with the river of life and watching the memories of your life, watching what's past and what's back. You can never go back there again, but you can move forward to new opportunities. You can evolve your cycle to a beautiful place where you know when it's time to live your passion, when you know when it's time to go within, and you know when it's time to leave this great earth. So I'll talk to you as you flow down the river of life. So we use our imaginations in shamanism as we sing that we're flowing back to source. And so we start by putting our hands on our heart. A lot of metaphors, a lot of words were spoken. How do you feel right now? What are your fears? Do you feel clear? Do you understand how to be in the harmony of life? Do you feel like you're in the flow of the rhythm, the change in seasons? Watch a movie of the river of life moving right before you. Are you carrying old losses, old griefs, old wounds? Or have you let them go in the past where they need to stay because they can't follow you down the river? They can't. The river of life is a place for you to shine your presence, your greatest passion in the world. And when you follow the cycles of nature and the seasons of nature, you're in this great flow. Feel yourself flowing through life as the earth is carrying you. The earth's child you will always be, as the earth is carrying you back to source. So we let go of our past, knowing it shaped us. And we go into our hearts and we grieve over the things that we've lost and what we miss. Do we miss people in our life? Do we miss our health? Do we miss our capabilities? Is there anything we miss? What are we grateful for that we were able to experience? Knowing that everything in life changes, and whatever we've experienced is going to change too. And we're going to grow just like the river. The river, she is flowing, and she is growing back to the sea. And we have all these beautiful memories, and hopefully we have a community. But we stay in balance. We follow the cycles of nature. We follow the cycles of the sun, the cycles of the moon, the cycles of the stars, of the galaxies. We know that when we were born, we were given this knowledge of how to flow and how to grow through life, through our passion. Look at the plants that you've seen, their life cycles, and how they go back to the earth. And the beauty of the trees during the different seasons, and how their colors change, and how their presence change, and how they also go within and go back to source. All of life is born from source. We live out our passion. We live out our destiny. We have so many beautiful memories. We miss some of those, but we look forward to the richness that our soul gives us as we start to communicate at the end of our lives. And then at the end of our lives, like the river goes back to source, our soul goes back to source in exactly the same way. It's a flow, it's a song, it's a dance, it's a natural cycle. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother, carry me back to the sea. So it's time to return and use your imagination to just be back. Feel your presence expanded, like you've allowed your ego to move a little bit out of the box that you keep yourself in. Flowing, feeling your energy flowing, your spirit flowing, breathing the flow of the river, letting go of the contractions, the fear. You're always taken care of by the river of life. You're always taken care of by soul. You're always taken care of by source. And you are source. So feel the love in your heart. Transmute any fears with love and light. Feel yourself grounding back to the earth after this experience. And just breathe deeply and allow your presence to grow and grow and grow. as you start to feel spiritually stronger, like you are in tune with nature and the cycles of nature now. And it feels good to know that you're connected to the earth, the sun, the stars, the moon, and the galaxies and the creative forces of the universe. For now, you are home here on this great earth, and I welcome you back from our journey.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you, Sandra. Imagine we're all just kind of breathing in that more expanded sense of deep connection with the rhythms of life. Well, where to go from here in terms of this really embracing? I feel like that's a very powerful experiential, and how do we keep building on that to embrace death as this a beautiful transition and a beautiful portal for us?
Well, I think what's the most important thing, and the thing that I didn't talk about, but I really want to say this now because you all have such an amazing opportunity right now. I think I think what we're experiencing with this, the issues of longevity and the issues of fear of death, is we're in collective soul loss, where we feel empty.
Mm,
Um, One of the symptoms of soul loss is where we feel that we need more life, more food, more people, more work, more love, more money, more material possessions because we're so empty inside.
mm,
And so, what we're experiencing on the earth right now, and I don't think I have to explain this to anybody right now, is we're dealing with collective soul loss. And so, when we find our purpose and when we find our passion, we don't need anything from the outside world. We actually don't need anything from the outside world.
mm,
And so to keep working with the river of life and to keep looking at what fills you up about life, about nature, how the sun fills you up every day with everything that you need to thrive, how the wind clears your energy and fills you with love, how the earth is your support, your greatest support, and carries you through life with beauty and abundance and nurturance, and how water is life, and how we are water. We're actually earth, air, water, and fire. And so, as we focus more on connecting to nature and seeing that everything in nature has a passion and a purpose, and we really find that passion and our purpose, that is actually the cure for your own soul loss and the collective soul loss that we're experiencing on the earth right now. And remembering that you are source and just allowing that presence to flow. We're not allowing our energy to flow, and we're feeling constricted, and that brings up all the fears. And so the process of birth is about opening, and the process of death is going back home to the beauty of the light that we experience back home. And while we're living here on earth, we get to experience the beauty of our own light inside of us. and this incredible passion and purpose that we came here to manifest. That's why we're here. And then we feel full. And then when it's our cycle is over, we know it and we feel full and we feel ready and we don't feel, wait, I still need more, because we actually fulfilled our purpose and our cycle comes to a natural end.
Mm. I love your perspective, and it's clear that this is just rooted in such deep spiritual wisdom. And what a blessing to spend this time together and really receive this transmission from you. When I know that there's so much angst in the air in our collective right now too, and so to really ground ourselves in that higher purpose and fill ourselves from the inside, what a blessing! And to use death as really our portal into that is yeah, it makes deep sense. So I want to spend some time now talking more explicitly about the program you mentioned, which is a brand new program that Sandra is very excited to bring to Shift Network. And it's really going deeper into this area so that it becomes a portal to your transformation, to the liberation of your purpose, and to really living with that sense of gratitude for all that this life brings. So the program is called A Shaman's Approach to Death as a Rite of Passage, wisdom practices that help loved ones, pets, and clients find peace and healing in their sacred transitions. It's at the URL shamanicdying.com, shamanicdying.com. It's a 7-week journey of very experiential and really will help to rewire your understandings, your perspective, your practices, and also be of greater service to others. So, Sandra, I'd love for you to share in your own words what you're excited about bringing forward and what people can expect in this program. And then I'll read out the module titles and you can give us a preview what's coming in each.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, I just want to let you know that so many people have signed up for this course and say to me, Sandra, I have no idea why I signed up for this course. And I go, I know, but I know I'm going to hear from you later. And I always, always do. I always get letters from people later and go, oh my God, I'm so happy. I have the tools that you gave me. I didn't know I needed them at the time, but I know I need them now. And so it's really about, we go a little bit deeper into what I shared about what does it feel like to just be released of the body and our ego, and to remember, just remember we're coming back, but remember where we came from and why we came here and what our true nature is and what our life is about. And so that's where we start. We really want to start from there. And then we want to look at how do we help people who absolutely never want to hear the word shamanism or helping spirits. How do we actually work with a shamanic method using drawing, where we don't have to use any language about shamanism, but we can use an actual drawing with a teaching that I'll be sharing with you of how we can actually help people not know what a helping spirit is, not know what shamanism is, actually go to meet a helping being who might cure them or might alleviate them from their fears of death, who they can talk to all the time. My mother, who thought I should be in a mental institution, she loved her dolphin when at the end of her life. She couldn't wait for me to come over and put on the drumming so that she could talk to her dolphin, but she didn't know what shamanism was. But her dolphin gave her all the peace that she needed to be given. So, what a gift to be able to give people that kind of peace, and how we can meet our loved ones that crossed over, our people, ancestors, pets, plants. I work a lot with plants on the other side. How do we meet those beings and finish up our unfinished business? Because they don't have an ego anymore. Those beings don't have an ego anymore. They're just spirit. And so we could learn a lot about what was the play, what was the costume they had on during this life, what was the role that they were playing, and how do we finish up that unfinished business? Or how do we just express those words that we never got to express? So we could never let go of our grief because we just had to say. From a shamanic point of view, there is no time, so you can always say. And then how do we sit with people? How do we teach ourselves to be a being of light, and that ancestors actually might come into the room and that they might not be your loved ones or your client's hallucination, but that they're beings coming to help? And so how do you work all together as a community and hold space for either a client or a loved one who's even a pet who's getting ready to leave this great earth? Or I sit with my favorite trees before they go. And what are what are the ceremonies that we can do to honor those, to have a beautiful, safe passage home, but the ceremonies to honor our community that we're left with? What are those beautiful memorials that we can do to help people move through their grief? And and what are the ceremonies that we can learn from people in the future of how to honor death? And so for me, life is about living, but life is also about honoring that going really deep, deep within, of how the sun rises every morning um, and how the sun sets every night, and how we rise and how we set through the cycles of our own life. And so it's really about how we focus on our life here, but that it's a role, and what happens when we let go of the role and go back to our authentic self. And so our life is always about finding our authentic self and living it, and living our purpose and living our passion, and helping others to do the same, and hold space for those who are getting ready to leave and finish unfinished business, so that you have peace in your own life.
So beautiful. So module 1 is called Embrace Dismemberment to Awaken Your Connection to the Divine.
Yeah, so that's going deeper into the experience that we just did again, of remembering how beautiful it is to be with Source again.
Module 2, Prepare for Death to Access Spiritual Support.
And so that's where I'm going to teach a way to work with art. And trust me, I don't work with art. So uh, you're safe with me. And so I'm going to teach you how to make an opening to the other side, where people, you don't have to give any shamanic information, you don't have to give anything about helping spirits, but where you'll be able to teach people how to journey through a flower to meet a helping being who might have some healing help, or who might have some beautiful wisdom about what death is about.
Module 3, Connect with Deceased Loved Ones to Heal Unfinished Business.
We want to finish our unfinished business in our lifetime. We really do. And the beauty of shamanism, as I shared, is there is no time. And so we always have those beings. And And in shamanism, in most shamanic cultures, it's understood that there is reincarnation. But because when we journey, we're outside of time, we can journey back to ancestors who might really be able to help us understand what we're going through right now, and who will have our backs because they're the ones who are going to meet us when we leave this great earth.
Module 4, learn from nature to understand the natural process of death.
Yeah, so I'm a real nature being, and so I really like to bring people to nature. Number one, I have this unbelievable love affair with the elements. I am in love with earth, air, water, fire, and lightning. And so they're billions of years old. Imagine the perspective that they can teach us about death. And I had a plant that a plant specialist shared with me actually committed suicide because it lost its friend. And so I've had to learn how to talk to my plants, trees around me, and to learn about their cycle. And so I really want to bring the group away from just what humans experience around death, but what do all nature beings experience around death? Like the Davis and the sprites that I used to fantasize about. They had millions of years of life, but they suffered because they knew that their life was going to end one day. And so, what do we learn from nature about the love, the passion for life? But when it's time to go, when our cycle is over, when we've bloomed, when we've put out our fruit, when we've put out everything we've had to share in this lifetime, and when it's time to go back to the earth again.
Module 5, use transfiguration to create sacred space for transition.
So much of my work is about understanding that we're more than a body, we're more than our mind, but we are spirit, and that spirit is light. And what thousands, tens of thousands of us have discovered in the last years is that when we sit with a person who's dying or a person who's in a really agitated state, but we can sit in our spiritual light where we could remember our spiritual identity, that other person can mirror that back to us, and their light starts to shine through their body, and their agitation starts to get less, their light starts to shine more, and then they can move into a place of peace. But first, we have to be able to know how to sit in that place and be that light. And then they can mirror that. And then their process becomes unbelievably easy after that point.
Module 6, use ceremony to heal from grief.
Yeah, we don't know how to do grief in our culture. We do not how to know how to do grief in our culture. You get 2 days off from work and you got to get back. And grief is a natural cycle. Everything grieves, everything. Animals grieve. I've listened to my squirrels cry for days when a raven takes their babies. And as I said, I had a plant that died because it lost its friend that it sat next to for years and years and years. Everything grieves. Just like death is a natural process, grief is a natural process, and we do not take care of people who are in grief. And it's a really important thing to do. And so I really want to look at how grief is a natural cycle, how nature beings grieve, and we're going to journey into the future to get some beautiful rituals about how we can start to bring memorials that honor people. I love sharing memorials. I found a way to bring a community together and bring in the memories of what we remember, the funny stories. And then we all send the person back home together. It's beautiful. So there's so many beautiful rituals that we can bring in that we're not bringing in that can help people move through the grief and to let go of people so that we don't try to keep them here, which is another part that I talk about in the course that is affecting the collective's health.
So
Uh,
module 7 then is perform meaningful memorial ceremonies to honor beings who have passed.
Yeah, so module 6 and 7 are big modules. We actually can't finish module 6 in one module. So the grief and the memorials go into 2 modules because I have a lot to say because I've trained a lot of people to do memorials and I love doing memorials when people die. So it's really big work. So we have 2 modules to deal with grief and how we can bring memorials to really change our families and our communities' understanding about death, but most of all, understanding that it's really important that we have to let the person go because we fear death in this culture. So we hold on to people who it is their natural cycle to go home. And it's not good for them and it's not good for you if you're not willing to give them free traveling back
Mm.
home to source again.
That's a great point. You had mentioned you had one other point you wanted to make. You want to do that now?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I am not teaching psychopomp work in this course. A lot of you are going to expect me to teach it. Psychopomp is actually guiding souls who are stuck from the middle world, and it's very advanced work. I'm teaching a course for people who want to work with yourself and those clients and loved ones who you know who are dying, how to give them a really graceful death. So you don't need a lot of shamanic knowledge to be enrolled in this course. I just need you to have a connection with one helping spirit who you can talk to in this course. I don't care who you learned it from, but just have one helping spirit who you can talk to in this course.
Beautiful. Well, what a beautiful program. It couldn't be more timely. And Sandra, I just know that anything that's emerging out of this level of practice and commitment and passion for you is going to be an incredible offering for folks. So again, it's all at shamanicdying.com, shamanicdying.com. And we've gone over the 7 main modules. There, you'll also get recordings for every session, both video and audio. You'll get word-for-word transcripts from every class. There's a weekly exercise for home. There's also a small group time to connect with other participants, as well as a Facebook community to really create community across the world around this. And Sandra tends to be very active in the community as well, which really adds to the richness. On the page, you'll see a number of extra bonuses that help enhance your journey. There's resources for ceremonial work. These are audio and PDF guides from Sandra. There's also video teaching from Sandra, the healing work of honoring nature and the elements. And there's one special bonus that you get. It's actually 2 bonuses in one if you sign up by midnight tonight, which is great reason to do so. This is an audio from Sandra called 2 New Guided Journeys from Polishing the Path of the Soul. Want to share a little bit about that special 2 bonuses in 1 they get if they sign up today?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to teach a fabulous course through the Shift Network called Walking Through Darkness. Um, the dark night of the soul leads to the light of the shaman. And so I've been walking through darkness. I've had so many initiations in my life where I had to learn a roadmap of how do I help people walk through the darkness so that the light can find us, because we don't have elders who are teaching that to us anymore. So I did a 10-hour recording of Sandra Ingerman, unhinged, completely unhinged, where I lecture and do these guided journeys, long guided journeys of how to walk through the darkness so that the light can find you. So it's perfect for this course and it's perfect for our time. And I was given permission to give 2 of the guided journeys that I led in this course. Um, I really did get unhinged. I really did go for it.
That's great. Well, I'm sure that's great to have you in the uncensored form. So that's a great extra reason to sign up today. So it's going to be clearly going to be an amazing program. People are always so grateful to study with Sandra, and especially when she's teaching new material. So we've kept the investment for this program very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128. You can save 10% when you pay in full with 1 payment of $349. The course is going to start January 7th and run Tuesdays at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. And on the page at shamanicdying.com, you'll see many great testimonials. I can tell you that thousands and thousands of people have studied with Sandra through Shift, and she's just highest degree of integrity, impeccability, and you really get deep service to your spiritual transformation. So again, it's all at shamanicdying.com, and you'll get those special 2 bonuses when you sign up today, which are the 2 new guided journeys from polishing the path of the soul. So Sandra, it's always a delight to be with you. Thank you for really opening our hearts and minds to seeing death as such a beautiful process. So thank you for today's time and your upcoming program as well. So anything that's still on your heart you want to say to folks who are considering joining you for the course on a shaman's approach to death as a rite of passage?
Yeah, I actually asked my spirits if they had anything that they wanted to say about the times that we're in. And they said, life is going to go on. And so life does go on. Life goes on, and we have all these experience and we have all these memories. But if we're really following the river of life, if we're really following the natural flow of the cycles of nature, you're going to see how it is so natural not to step out of the flow of nature, but stay in the flow of nature and just be amazed at the beauty of where nature is going to take you when after your purpose and you've put out your passion, you've put out your purpose, you've bloomed, and now it's time to go home and be fed by Source again. It's going to be such a beautiful course because you're going to go through that cycle, but we're all going to stay here at the end of the course.
Well, thank you, Sandra. What a beautiful hour and a beautiful offering to really offer this shamanic approach to death and dying as a rite of passage. So if you choose to move forward, you'll be in really good hands. It's all at shamanicdying.com, and you'll get the special 2 bonuses if you sign up by midnight tonight, which are the guided journeys from polishing the path of the soul. So thank you so much, Sandra, and thank you all for joining. Many blessings.
Blessings.